I want to start this video with a full game spoiler warning. If you have not completed Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, I suggest that you come back to this video after you've done so. In this video, I'll be covering the current strategy for the free Glitchless category of Oh Brother. This is the first TA guide that I'm remaking, as the strategy has been changed enough for me to feel like it warrants a new guide. If you want more background on this guide series, I'll have a link in the description to the first video in this series where I'll talk more about the structure of the series. I'll also have other useful links for mechanics and other general information in the description, as well as a link to a Pastebin with the written version of the build and strategy that I'll be covering in this video. With that out of the way, let's get into the build. So for the party that we're going to be using the party in the order Dunban, Rhine, Melia. This is pretty similar to the old strategy for people who are familiar with that, with the only main difference being that now Rhine is in slot 2. Other than that, all the equipment is the same. To kind of go over the equipment though, on Dunban we're going to be running the Wyvern Cutlass with first attack plus, and attack stability. First attack plus is here so that we can one-shot an enemy on wave 3. Then Wyvern Cutlass with attack plus and attack stability is just the most damage we can get out of our weapon. You can technically run Darkness Sickle, which does have a higher auto attack max, but it's only slightly higher with a significantly lower auto attack minimum, so overall it's not really worth it to run. For Dunban's other gems, you're going to be wanting 2 Strength Up gems to get a total of 150, an Initial Tension gem, and a Quick Step gem. The haste here doesn't really matter, I just kind of happen to have it because I happen to have the Glory Gauntlets on Dunban at this time, but Dunban's not going to be auto attacking, so haste does not matter on him. For Rhine, we're going to be running the Atomic Driver with first attack plus, attack stability, and attack plus, just like Dunban. And we're pretty much doing this for the same reason as Dunban. We just want Rhine to be able to do as much damage as possible, and we want to have first attack plus to boost the damage of his initial hit. For Rhine's other gems, we're going to have 2 Strength Up gems, an Initial Tension gem, and a Quick Step gem. Once again, the haste here doesn't matter, I just happen to have it equipped at the time. And then Familiar, the only gem on her that matters is Quick Step. I don't even have a Quick Step 6 on her because it just doesn't really matter that much. The only thing that Melia is really here for is to give us a bit of extra strength to summon Flare, though I typically still run Strength Up, PDD, double attack, and weapon power on her just in case she happens to get an auto attack off. For arts, on Dunban you're going to be wanting to have Gale Slash, Peerless, Soaring Tempest, and Steel Strike. You can run these in any configuration you want, but this is the art order that I prefer. I find that it makes it the easiest to use the arts in the order that they need to be used in. For Ryan, the only art that matters is Hammer Beat. This is going to be the only art you're going to want to have equipped to him. And Familiar, you really only need Summon Flare, but I typically run Summon Copy as well, just in case. For skills, you're going to want to have Dunban on his Enthusiasm skill tree. I'll go ahead and just scroll through the skills real quick so you can see them. Pretty much just wanting to get as much Quick Step as possible while also having as much damage as possible, with the only noteworthy one being Amazing Stars, because this allows us to have Steel Strike up in time for Wave 3. Ryan is going for the Spirit skill tree, and here are his skills, once again just prioritizing damage and Quick Step. And Melia's skill tree doesn't matter, but I'll show it anyways, and I just have Quick Step on her as well as heavy equipment from Ricky, because I happen to use heavy equipment on Melia a lot. So with the build out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the video review section of this video. For this section of the video, I'm going to be talking through my current PB as of the time of recording this. So before you start setting up for this time attack, or before you attempt this time attack, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set something up. You're going to want to set up so that the lure will be the default command whenever you load into a time attack. I'll link in the description for my video on how to set this up, but just know that's something you're going to want to do before attempting any runs of this time attack. So as soon as this time attack starts, things are going to happen pretty quickly. So I'm going to go through and kind of explain them right now, and then we'll kind of watch through and I'll talk to them again as they're happening. So whenever the first wave starts, you're going to want to target onto one of the enemies while moving to the right and mash A twice so that you can lure and start the battle with the enemies. Then you're going to want to target onto the left Chromar, focus your allies onto it, target onto the right Chromar, then use Peerless, Steel Strike, and Soaring Tempest in that order, and that will clear the first 2 waves if all goes well. I'll kind of go ahead and play through this now, and we'll kind of talk through it as it happens. but just so you're aware of what's going to be happening ahead of time. So I'm actually going to go frame by frame here for a sec. So you can see as I as I target the enemy, it defaults to lure. And this is the reason why, because otherwise you have to switch to it, and that takes a few frames. This is just a couple of frames faster. So target, focus them on the right one, Peerless, Steel Strike, and then I use Soaring Tempest. And kind of go back here so you can see what happens. So Steel Strike does a lot of damage, but doesn't quite kill the enemy that on the right. Then Ryan's Hammerbeat will kill the enemy on the left, and hopefully the AoE from it will also kill the ignite that you were attacking. Um, for a little bit of context as to how Hammerbeat works, Ryan uses it with a very high priority, and it's an attack that does an AoE on the around in a circle around the enemy that's being hit by it. So in this case, because the two chromas are close enough, or the two enemies are close enough together, it kills the one that Ryan's attacking and finishes off the one that I was attacking. Then here, Soaring Tempest goes off, and this kills the wave too. To kind of explain what happened there, this is a trick called art reservation. It's a little bit complicated, but the general idea of it is that if you start an art animation after the next wave has started, it will still kill the enemies, even if you queued it up before the enemies spawn. So that allows you to very quickly just kill off the next wave. So here's the next deviation in the strategy from the old route. So here at the start of this upcoming wave, I'll talk through it again ahead of time, then we'll watch through it and talk through it again. What's going to happen is I'm going to want to target the enemy that is closest to me and start mashing lure as I walk towards them. After I've lured them and started the battle, I'm going to want to target onto the shorter enemy. I think it's the Chrome I mean Ignite, I forget exactly which enemy it is, but the short one that is the one that's different. You're going to want to target onto that, focus your allies onto it so that Ryan will attack it, and then target onto the Chroma that's farthest from that one, use Gale Slash, target onto the third enemy, use Steel Strike, and if all goes well, all enemies should die. We'll go ahead and watch through this because that was a lot of information and it's a lot more clear what's happening as it's happening. So here I go ahead and target onto the Fire Ignite because it's the closest, focus them onto it, target the Chroma that's furthest away from the Igna, click Gale Slash, target the third enemy, hit Steel Strike, and just like with Wave 1, the combination of Steel Strike and Hammerbeat kills the last enemy, and that is the end of the wave. So I'll go ahead and let this play out real quick as I go ahead and start the outro, but that is about it for this time attack. I hope that this kind of helped explain what's happening in this time attack, how to do it, and that this is just generally useful if you decide to try this out for yourself. With all that out of the way, though, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.